everyone, Pineapple here, and today we start the Little Garden arc with One Piece Season 2, Episode 4, Big Trouble in Little Garden. Last time was altogether strong with whiskey business, and after all that action and Mr. Nine's heroic sacrifice, we ended with Miss All Sunday arriving on the Merry just after the crew took Vivi on board. Will this arc be as strong as the last episodes, even as a part 1? Let's have a look with Big Trouble on Little Garden. Miss All Sunday manages to piss everyone off, easily disarming them and tossing Sanji and Usopp. That, in fact, only making Sanji more into her.
So you gonna be coming with us?
Keep it in your pants, she's the enemy.
And Luffy furious when she plays with his hat. I should probably also be fearing for them, but I have to admit, for once in my life, I'm more in Sanji's boat. She offers them an eternal pose, a route straight to a remote island to hide out, but Luffy pretty coolly rejects her. So she poetically threatens them and dives off into the water. I hope she has a hidden boat down there, cause otherwise it'll be a very short trip for Miss All Sunday. After another cool title card, giant themed this time, the crew deliberate about what to do. Usopp of course ready to hide, Sanji still reeling from her beauty, and Vivi understandably panicked. But they decide to keep going on their way, Vivi being ready to jump ship to find a way to Alabasta. But Little Garden is basically uninhabited by seafaring life, so on the crew she stays. Once again I'm feeling a little disconnected between the overhead and the sets, but more due to the angle of the CGI shots. Nowhere near as jarring as the placement of Whiskey Peak, but removed from that, Little Garden does look fantastic. And we'll be getting more than our fair share of creative shots and cinematography later on. Everyone is ready to explore even with the animal roars. Well, Usopp would prefer to stay, but what's new? And of course the cook and the swordsman size up for their next dick measuring effort, splitting off to get the crew dinner. Before the action starts we get some really nice character scenes, Nami explaining to Vivi that sort of je ne sais quoi that Luffy has, when Vivi, much like other outsiders, questions Luffy's judgment and sanity. Not only helping mix Vivi into the crew dynamic, but also showing Nami's respect for Luffy after their travels, and especially with what went down in Arlong Park. But when Nami returns to the ship, our remaining pairs find dinosaurs on the island. Zoro and Sanji fighting a T-Rex for lunch, and Luffy marveling and then climbing a Brontosaurus, dragging Vivi up with him, and I have to say, why the hell does everyone on this ship have chemistry with everyone else? Seriously, Luffy of all people should not have this easy chemistry with a member of the opposite sex. Although very true to character, he does easily ruin it.
Oh! You can get ice cream sundaes at 3 in the morning?
No, I'm not a child.
You're no fun!
But seriously, Nami and Sanji, Nami and Luffy, Zoro and Sanji, Nami and Vivi, and I guess Usopp just does his thing. It's ridiculous how well these actors can work off of each other, and I'm sure that shippers are having the time of their lives. We get a deserved Karoo reference. Seriously, my biggest gripe this season is the lack of Karoo. And back on the ship, Usopp is busying himself to avoid going on the island, Nami trying to get him out of his terrified shell. It's really nice, and this arc especially is really good for Usopp. I like this Usopp a lot better than in the anime, but this season, he really hasn't had all that much to do so far. His one major takedown in episode 1, a double team with Nami, and having done fuck all for the last 2 episodes, so to have a 2-parter be so strong for his character was a really good choice. Before Usopp can decide to venture out, they are beset upon by the giant Brogy, who drinks all their ale, funnily cracking it open like a can, and then taking our 2 crewmates for lunch. And the giants aren't too active when it comes to interacting across the cinematic planes. They do well not to have the big and small properly interact, but my god, do I love the perspective shots. Sure, the prop broken wood falling on them doesn't feel great when it comes to the fluidity of the scenes, but every time the giants and humans are shot together they looked fantastic, and the quality of that really shows the focus and attention given to these episodes. Zoro and Sanji defeat the T-Rex, continuing their dick measuring cheering contest, but Zorro is attacked, painted on by a mysterious, creepy, giggling force. Now this will turn out to be Miss Goldenweek, played by Broadway's own Sophia Ann Caruso, and we don't actually see her till the end of the episode, so while most of her acting and characterization is in the next episode, and we'll talk about it then, keeping her as a mysterious and creepy force that easily gets one over on the crew gives Miss Goldenweek a respectable amount of build-up. As a credible threat, Luffy sniffs out some food, leading him and Vivi to our other giant, Dory. Meanwhile, Usopp and Nami are pissing their pants, thinking Brogy will eat them. Usopp doing well to distract the giant with his bravado and tales of battle, but it turns out Brogy just wants to hang out with some new people. The whole misunderstanding played really well.
Have you for lunch. I hear it now.
At the same time, Five and Valentine land on the island in Five's really gaudy ship, hoping to complete the job before they are killed, but they've been beaten here by Mr. 3. His partner, Miss Goldenweek, as we know, already being creepy and running around the island. Mr. 3 is played by David Dastmalchian. Not my favourite character, but I think he's treated really well. The look is down pat. David plays the role perfectly. The mix between sophistication and utter psychopath mixed well with his supposed artistry, and considering his future relationship with Buggy, this show characterizing them both as psychopathic artists is a really neat through line. But also, the effects and sets for his abilities also are looking great. These episodes do really well between the built props using the beach and forest, and the blending of perspectives. Mr. 3 gives the duo instructions, them subservient in hopes that they will survive, targeting the giants. Luffy gets along really well with Dory, carved references sat next to him and Vivi, and I like that Vivi here gets a scene I don't remember from the original. The giant instructing Vivi on how the giants of Elbaf deal with their fallen. And so with the same ritual, a burning, she takes the handkerchief Igaram gave her, and they burn it as she says goodbye. It's very well played, but now I'm even more apprehensive on Igaram's impending state of life. Sure, I want him to come back, but after giving their relationship so much weight, and most likely continuing with flashbacks next season in Alabasta, I do think the narrative will kind of be more satisfying if he stays dead.
Sorry. It's just beautiful.
Brogy also gets some good dialogue with Usopp and Nami, enrapturing Usopp in the idea of visiting Elbaf, the land of giants and warriors. But before long, the island's volcano goes off, marking the time that every day, for the past 100 years, that the two giants get together and fight to the death. The two obviously either not very good or very evenly matched. And sure, they come off as a little silly or stupid to be doing it, but the theme and idea of it being about their honor and Usopp's understanding of that not only make for good characterization for the giants, but Usopp as well, as he excitedly catches up with Brogy, quoting Nami back to her apprehensive self as she also gets creeped and painted on by Miss Goldenweek. Zorro is trying to fight the paint, but Sanji doesn't notice that the usually straight-faced Zorro is uncontrollably laughing, and that's kind of a strange thing, allowing him to be an easy target for Valentine. And as the giants meet, no one seems to be able to tell what's wrong with Nami. Vivi talks to her multiple times, wonders if her actions are strange, and then just kind of ignores her. It's played and cut really strangely. Even Usopp and Luffy's interactions cut poorly when moving the shot from in front of them to behind them to allow the what is probably green-screened giants to be visible in the same shot. It's probably the one thing that I actually properly dislike in this episode. The giants then share drinks from their massive ale barrels. They must have one hell of a home brewery to have that much ready every day. Luffy and Usopp are loving the giants' battle. The giants even get a neat wanted poster graphic, and it's not amazing, but I do like the stylistic choices. Not only in their armor and weapons, but the way they fight with so much weight in their movements is translated greatly. Usopp realizes his claim from last season that he wants to be a warrior just like them. Luffy promising the two of them will one day visit the giants' homeland Elbaf together. And don't get worried, they will, just by like chapter 1126 and episode 1156. But they'll get there eventually. Unfortunately, the duel does not go as planned as Mr. 5 has spiked Brogy's drink, not only injuring him, but even less honorably, making it come from Dory's badge. Luffy spots the Baroque Works agents, him and Vivi going after them, and Usopp is rendered powerless as Brogy decides to continue the match, getting stabbed in the torso, losing the fight and presumably his life to Dory. But the victory is a hollow one once Dory realizes the truth, having lost not only his honor but a dear friend in the process. Valentine swoops in, abducting Nami and sending Usopp down the cliff face. He says his goodbye to Brogy, but the giant has inspired Usopp to run off and save Nami. Luffy is intercepted on his journey, taken in by Miss Goldenweek's innocent girl act, rendering him useless, and the episode ends off with a good cliffhanger: Usopp lost, Sanji confused, Dory attacked by Mr. 3, and Vivi captured alongside the rendered useless Nami and Zoro. So while not as strong as the last 3 self-contained episodes, there was a lot of interesting stuff here. Usopp's arc got off to a great start. He is one of the only 2 Straw Hats not captured, and the only one of the 2 that has any idea what's going on. Mr. 3 and Miss Goldenweek have been introduced and had their danger set up well. The giants not only look pretty good in frame, barred that one set of shots, but are acted endearingly, and the cliffhanger is a good hook to the next episode. Of course, it lacks as much action as last time, or next time, so it feels a little slower, but it's a pretty good establishing episode so we can get to the good stuff next time in the conclusion to the Little Garden arc. Thank you everybody for watching my review of this episode of One Piece Season 2. Please like the video if you liked it, comment down below if you wish, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, ring the notification bell so that you're told every single time that I make an upload. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next review. Bye!
Toast. A little piece of toast. Because there's so much to choose from. There's brown bread, white bread, all sorts of wholemeal bread. It comes in funny packages with writing on the side.